with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mike.
My pleasure.
So I think the public is viewing at this point on YouTube. We welcome the public if you're out there or if you're going to view at a later date. And remember that you can chat in comments. Just be patient if you do that, because it may take a little bit to receive the comment and then process it. So moving along on the agenda, we have a public hearing scheduled tonight to a proposal to override the 21-22 tax levy. So I will ask Pam to read the legal notice.
Please take notice that the Village of Victor Board of Trustees will hold a public hearing on March 1st, 2021 at 7 p.m. via Zoom and live streamed on YouTube. The sole purpose of this public hearing will be to determine if the Village of Victor should enact a local law to override the tax levy limit established in General Municipal Law, Section 3-C for the 2021-2022 village tax. A draft proposal of this chapter is on file at the office of the village clerk, Victor, New York.
Thank you, Pam. Your volume is down a little bit. Okay, so I will ask for a motion. Well, before we start the public hearing, just want to let the public know that the reason we're doing this, it's a precautionary measure. We believe we will be within the tax cap. However, we're quite close to the tax cap. And if there was a miscalculation in the preparation of the budget or between now and the adoption of the budget, if we needed to change something, we would still be okay by overriding the tax cap. If we don't override it and we've made a mistake or something, then there's some repercussions from the state that we'd rather not deal with. So that's just a little background, and I will ask for a motion then to open the public hearing.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mike,
I'll second it.
second by Bob. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? None. So again, gave you the background on why we're proposing to do this. Anybody on the board want to make any comments regarding the resolution to override the tax cap?
No, I think you've done a good job explaining it.
All right, have we received any comments, Pam, from the public?
I don't think there's anybody here, is there?
No.
Okay. So I'm going to read this resolution. I'm just going to give the public a little time in case somebody couldn't get on right away or something. So the resolution reads to adopt local law to override the tax levy limit for the village fiscal year 2021-2022. Whereas a resolution was adopted by the Board of Trustees of the Village of Victor for a public hearing to be held by said Board of Trustees on March 1st, 2021 at 7 p.m. via Zoom meeting and live streamed on YouTube to hear all interested parties on a proposed local law to override the tax levy limit established in General Municipal Law, Section 3-C. And whereas notice of said public hearing was duly advertised in the official newspaper of the Village of Victor on February 18th, 2021, and all other notices required by law to be given were properly served, posted, or given. And whereas said public hearing was held on March 1st, 2021 at 7 PM via Zoom meeting and live streamed on YouTube. And all parties in attendance were permitted an opportunity to speak on behalf of or in opposition to said proposed local law or any part thereof. Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Victor, after due deliberation, finds it in the best interest of the Village of Victor to adopt said local law, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Victor hereby adopts said local law number 1-21 of 2021, entitled a local law of override the tax levy limit established in General Municipal Law, Section 3-C, a copy of which is attached hereto and made a part of this resolution. And be it further resolved that the village clerk be, and she hereby is directed to enter said local law in the minutes of this meeting and give due notice of the adoption of said local law to the Secretary of State of New York. And there is another legislative intent, authority, tax levy limit override, severability sections, and so forth that are filed with this, which I am not going to read at this point in time. I know you guys would all like me to do that, but I'm not going to do that. So again, before I ask for a motion for the resolution, just checking to make sure there's no comments from the public. And we are doing this as a precautionary measure. We do anticipate staying within the tax cap. But in case we are not able to do that for some reason between now and the time we adopt the budget, we're adopting this local law.
No comments, Gary.
Okay, thank you, Pam. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution to override the tax levy limit?
No.
Do we have to close the public hearing first?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Carol. You're always there to help me through. Appreciate it. Since there are no further comments from the board or from the public, apparently, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Carol. Is there a second?
I think Michelle seconded, but she's mute.
Sorry, I was muted. I'll second that.
Michelle, second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? None. Okay, then now we have the resolution in front of us. Is there a motion for the resolution to override the tax levy limit?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mike,
I'll second it.
second by Bob. One last chance for comments, questions, concerns. If there are none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay, next on the agenda, we have Jim, is it Adorsic? Is that the proper pronunciation of the last name?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Jim.
Hi.
Welcome tonight from 15 Railroad Street.
14 Railroad Street.
Okay, we have it wrong on the agenda, I'm sorry. 14 Railroad Street, asking the village board to waive water penalty. Go ahead, Mr. Adorsic.
Again, I take full responsibility for missing the payment. I've been very diligent in the past on making sure my payments have always been prompt. However, I am in Florida now getting my mail forwarded, and I actually received the copy of the bill that was due in February. I believe it was February 2nd. And unfortunately, that's, again, I know that it's due typically by the end of the month, and I totally forgot about it. And unfortunately, it showed up, as I said, after the due date. I immediately put a check in the mail at that point. And again, I'm just respectfully requesting that the town board consider waiving that penalty.
Okay, sir, I do see a letter from our part-time clerk to you, thanking you for the payment and explaining that you would need to come in front of us to get a waiver for the fees. And she also gave you some options for the future,
Yes.
automatic debit program and sending you a schedule so that you would have that to know when the bills are out and when they're due.
Yes, I do have a schedule, and I've actually put it on my calendar as a reoccurring thing, so I can make sure that if I do not get the bills while I'm out of town, I can go online or call her, I guess, for the exact amount.
Right. So I'll just add one more comment and then open it up to the board for any comments they might have. I'm looking at the ledger of your payments, and as you stated, you've been timely with your payments with the exception of, I think it's May of last year. It looks like there was a penalty assessed that you ended up paying. And then otherwise, it's just this particular instance. Any comments from the board?
Could you just refresh my memory? What is the penalty?
The amount of the penalty?
Yes.
So it's $46.71 for the water and $72 for the sewer.
And this property is a commercial property. I don't occupy the property. And instead of having the tenant pay it directly, which I did do originally when I purchased the property 10 years ago, and then found out the tenant was not paying the bill, and it was, put on the tax as a levy, or put on my property taxes. From that point forward, I decided that I would get the bills directly. And again, this is a commercial property. It's restaurants, and they do use a decent amount of water. So the total penalty would be over $100.
Understood. Any board comments? So it's always a balancing act when we have to consider these situations. And it's not an easy decision to make. I guess I can say in this particular instance, you certainly have been pretty timely with your payments other than last May. And I do understand, I think we all understand that the Postal Service has been having some troubles lately. This isn't the first instance of this kind of thing, and other mailings that I've heard of, that people have not gotten delivered on time. So perhaps that's an extenuating circumstance that we can consider. And Mr. Adorsik, you do understand that it's hard for us. We don't want to set precedents that we can't keep.
Yes, sir.
And I'm also sensitive to the fact that during the COVID pandemic, it's an extra whammy to have something like this happen. I get that. Anybody have a feeling on which way you want to go?
Gary, I'm thinking that I'd rather not set a precedent of allowing to drop a late fee in this case. And I think that the system works pretty much the way it always does. And it's unfortunate, but I think we need to assess the late fee. That's my opinion.
Okay, I appreciate that. Anybody else?
Yeah, I kind of feel the other way, only because I've had some personal experience lately with the mail. And, so this bill's got to go through the mail twice, really, right? Like it's got to get forwarded to Florida.
Right,
There's a history there that there was no ask for the penalty last May. So I get, I love the willingness that that Jim's already said he's, put the reminder on his calendars, especially when he's out of town. So I'm fine with waiving it this time. Again, like I think, we use the word precedent. I don't think it's the right legal term to use, but, I'm not saying we don't have other snowbird customers, but I do think it's a different scenario than we're used to. So.
Yeah, I'm willing to waive it as well. He said the post office, I just don't even want to talk about that anymore. But,
well, that's pretty hard, Carol. You and I are post office veterans, but there's certainly some issues beyond the control of the local post office, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
And particularly at that time, they were inundated with holiday issues that spilled over. And they admitted back then that it might be a couple of months before it all got straightened out. And it has apparently come true as a prediction. Michelle, any feeling either way?
I think I'm leaning towards yes on this one, just because of the postal issues. And I feel like this just got caught in that timing, that timing. So I'm going to lean towards yes.
Okay, so that leaves me, and I'm really on the fence with this one, but I guess I'm going to say yes as well, because I do feel it's got a pretty good track record here. And in this particular instance, I go to the post office every day. I'm pretty tuned into what was going on. So I guess we'll give them the benefit of the doubt in this situation, in my mind. I appreciate everybody's comments and discussion on it. And Jim, it looks like you're going to win this one.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you for your time and your service.
Hope that you will take advantage of, either the debit system or, whatever you can to make sure it doesn't happen again.
I will.
Appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Pam or board, do we need to record an official vote?
Only if you make a motion.
Okay, is there a motion then to waive the penalty?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Carol,
Sorry.
I can
I'll
second
second.
that.
Oh,
Or
sorry.
Mike's got it. Go ahead, Mike.
I'll second.
second by Michelle. All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Opposed?
Okay, 4-1. Penalty waived. Okay. Next on privilege of the floor, we have, drum roll, please, Kathy Rayburn and Amy DePrima.
Hello.
Hello.
And hello, everyone. Thanks for having us tonight.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Oh,
So Amy and I are each gonna do a part of this. It won't take too long. I just thought it would be a good time to come and give you an update on what we're doing, what we've been up to, and give you a chance to, ask us some questions. So we gave Pam a copy of the presentation. This is something I just redid and did this for the LDC board just so they could keep up. Basically, we've been up to a lot and I want to make sure we're communicating that effectively. So, so I just want to, just talk to you a little bit about why we decided to join forces and form this partnership. And it really came out of COVID. One of the positives that did, Amy and I sitting at our dining room tables, calling each other every 10 minutes. Did you get this? Are you sending this out? Really realizing that we could be, a stronger, more unified engine to drive economic development in Victor. We want to, this whole thing is about becoming one-stop shop, eliminating the multiple points of contact for businesses that, combining our fundraising efforts, really being that singular, that one voice in the business community. We had traditionally, this slide, I did this because this is what businesses encounter when they come in to Victor. Where do I go? We've got the village, we got the town, economic development, business connection, chamber, parks and rec. And not only when they come into town, but when they're existing businesses, these are all the different entities going to them for different things, whether it's an event or fundraising, very confusing, as you can see. So I did that as a little demonstration. Pam, if you go to the next slide. So here we have consolidated and we've come up with Victor Community Development Office. The logo you're seeing, Amy worked with students, and Amy, I'm trying to remember who, do you know?
FLCC. It was
Yep.
FLCC. Yep.
Yep.
So a girlfriend of mine is the graphic designer. She is a teacher at FLCC. So we sent it out to students and opened it up for them to have creativity. And we wanted the V to kind of be a little bit similar to what Victor already has. We're trying to keep the same branding with the V, so that the V's prominent and, get the same colors of the community and just have it something so everyone can kind of understand it's a different group, but it's us combined.
Right. So yeah, there we go. So, kind of quickly, who we are. It's an umbrella agency consisting of the entities we talked about: economic development, LDC, chamber, and community events. And when I say umbrella agency, I just want to make it clear, the LDC, the chamber, we are remaining true to our missions, but we're working together to, make it go even further into the community and make our partnership stronger. So our mission is to be the catalyst for a successful, strong, and thriving community. And there's our vision to promote and lead local businesses through our innovative partnership. Go ahead, Pam. So when I talk about our structure, this is what I'm talking about. So it's an umbrella agency. Here are the entities. We're still very much focused on the things that each of those entities had originally been doing, but now a business coming in or an existing business can go to one place to get all this information. And yes, Amy is currently over at 2 West Main, but in probably April, May timeframe, she will be coming over and joining me in my office. So it truly will be one location. Go ahead, Pam. I'm gonna let Amy jump in here and talk about promoting this, which is very important as we go forward and, you know, how we're communicating this.
So the promoting aspect of it, we were lucky enough to have the opportunity to do some TV commercials back in November, December, and they've been airing still in January and February. And that has brought a lot of attention to Victor, and just the, you know, the commercial in itself, just saying this is what we are, this is what we have. And it's been very positive. We've got some great leads from it. And what we're also doing is we've got 2 new commercials that are going to be starting. Kathy, forgive me, when is it next month that they're going to?
Probably middle of March.
And that is going to be some testimonials. So it'll be what we're doing plus the testimonials of other businesses in the area. And we're really excited about including some of these small businesses or large businesses for everyone to understand, you know, come to Victor, enjoy what everything Victor has to offer. Not only that, we did the community guide, which I was so thrilled to be able to have that happen. And that's something that anyone can buy into, but it's basically for all the partnerships. And let me just back up real quick. We're not calling the chamber members anymore. We're calling them partners, because you're not becoming a member of a group. We're partnering with your business. Kathy and I are here to help, and not just have this, you know, club of just very select few. This is any business that wants to partner with us to show all that we can do, have it not just businesses, but have it as a whole community. So that guide was really, really exciting to have out. And it was nice that it was delivered to everyone's home. And we're gonna have our 2nd edition coming out probably November timeframe again. We have our website that we just launched yesterday, and we're very excited about that. That's what happens on the website now is you'll go to victorcdo.org, and that's the landing page, and you'll be able to get to the chamber page and the local development page and economic development page as well. So I'd like everyone to check that out. We're also going to be doing a QR code. So around town, we're going to have it so that you can log in with your QR code on your phone, and it'll come up to our events page. That events page is going to be for everyone in the village and all the businesses that are partnering with us to kind of advertise what's going on. If you know, someone's having a sale, that promotion is going to be up on that, you know, for the time frame. If there's a band happening at Stumbling Monkeys, we're going to have that promotion as well. So it's going to be a nice calendar that anyone from the town is looking for something to do or promote. It's going to be able to be on that website, and, you know, easy to get to with the QR code. We're also working really hard in our social media, getting our Facebook pages combined. You know, LinkedIn, a few other ones that we're trying to combine and just make it so that it's, you know, a little bit easier for everyone to understand and read and know that it's not just the chamber. This is Victor. This is our group. This is our community. Kathy and I are going to be start doing a lot of in-person visits, but right now we're dealing with business Zoom meetings, and we're going to be having in Alive at 5 every other month. That's going to, you know, it's going to be a great opportunity for businesses to enjoy everything that we have to offer and be able to talk again and promote. If you want to roll, this was the commercial that we did. Is this just a slide, Kathy, or do we actually have the link to it?
That's a good question. I'm not sure if I can send you guys. I don't think the link is active on this one, but I can send it to you just so you can watch Amy and I in action if you haven't seen us.
Sounds like.
Has anyone been able to see it? If you can go to the next slide, you can see the days and times that it was on, and the channels.
Amy mentioned we've gotten some hits off of it, and we really have. I had two businesses that were not from Victor call about, you know, looking for locations and what do you have to offer kind of question. I had another Victor business call and say, this is, you know, great, you know, I want some more information, who, you know, didn't know about the LDC, which is one of the reasons that I kept saying we need to, everybody knows about the chamber, but the LDC is just this entity that's out there to support, but a lot of people didn't know. And we also got a call from Morel Builders because they were doing a VIP showing for one of their homes at Piper Meadows and wanted us to put, welcome packets together. Had no idea that that we existed. So it's getting some play and we really got some good airtime too.
So did
Go ahead,
anyone
I'm
happen
sorry.
to see the commercial on the board?
Joe, you did?
No?
I did.
I did.
Okay, good. Good. I'm glad.
So-
Yeah, we were lucky enough to even be on during one of the big football games. I think it was during the Buffalo Bills game. So we were pretty excited about that. I got quite a few phone calls at that day. So it's been a real positive thing. And we're looking to keep this going on and just draw attention to, everyone to understand what the Victor's out there, that come visit us. We've got a lot of opportunities, our trails, and that's the other positive thing that we're doing is, with this guide, it talks about everything within Victor. And hopefully everyone got a copy of the guide that was sent to their homes. We have other copies. We're also leaving some in the mall at the kiosk that we have at the mall. So we're real excited about that guide. It's really got a lot of attention from just partners asking, how can I be involved? How can I get into the guide? So we're really excited to have it bigger and better each year. If you want to go to the next, yeah, there it is. So this
Amy,
is the Victor.
Amy,
Yes, sure.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just have to ask. Since I did not see the spots on TV, was that during the month of February?
That started in November, December, January, and we had a
boy.
few in February as well. Yeah.
Okay,
And it was on those local stations. Those were the times that it was kind of on. But a lot of us don't necessarily watch TV all the time. I don't know. I'm more of a Netflixer and, already recorded things. But yeah, it was on Channel 13, Fox Rochester, and the CW.
and are those going to continue?
Yes. Well, what's happening next is we've gotten testimonial commercials that have been going on. We have Laura did a testimonial. We have
Hopper Hills.
Hopper Hills, and the next one we're holding off, making sure that one's going to happen. But we'll have one more with a larger company. We're hoping to get that done.
Okay, thank you.
So this is our new website. This is what it looks like, victorcdo.org. These are just different, developing partnership, community leaders. I'd love it if everyone could just check that out. If they have any questions, if, we have links on it. And it's a lot easier way for everyone to understand what the vision that Kathy and I are trying to get across to everyone. I think it just makes us smart, with social media, not too many, you don't have to go to 10 different websites to figure out what's happening in the town. So Kathy and I really try to keep the Facebook is going to change to be the Victor Business Connection. It's going to still be the Victor Business Connection, but we're just changing the logo so it's the same look of what VCDO is. But we're also on Nextdoor app, Instagram, and all of our websites. So just trying to keep the social media aspect going on. So beyond the organization, the partnership structure, we've been up to business outreach with Zoom, email communication. Kathy and I talk several times a day. We're sharing information. We're on the same type of meetings, assisting financial people just come in and ask me a question. And I really like having the opportunity to be able to include Kathy in those phone calls and those conversations so that the LDC gets those opportunities that they didn't have before. We also have been doing a lot of COVID updates. We've been on tons of Zooms about COVID together, hosting business Zoom meetings, promoting business updates, the social media, people are reaching out to us. And the thing that Kathy and I really wanted to push was it's not just the partners that we're trying to help out with COVID. And it's like, yes, we want it to be the partners to be the highlight, but it's everyone in Victor. So we got some, bad news that there's a couple businesses that might be closing down in Victor. And Kathy and I are both trying to reach out to let them know anything you need from us. If you're going to do pop-ups, whatever it's going to be, we're here for you. We're here to help. And also the other big thing is the school community connection. We're really lucky that we have the opportunity to work with the school, and with Dr. Terranova being such a big help to us, we're bridging that gap that was there before. So we're real excited about that. Next slide. So we have our goals for 2021. We really want to just try to get everything back to the way it was, but we have to do it with protocol. So we have active business recruiting programs. We're increased funding for the loan program. With the chamber, we're sponsoring things together. So that increase is going to be bigger and better for the LDC. Business outreach participation, where we're trying to get a lot of people involved just with the homeless bags that we've done and just help out with the community concerts. Where Kathy and I are doing a big push to help out with Parks and Rec this year. And just because Parks and Rec isn't going to be able to do everything that they've done in the past. So Kathy and I are doing everything we can to help out with that. And we're still going to try to have the community events, Hang Around Victor Day, Spooktacular, the Merchant Mobile Markets, and networking. And, we're trying to get a lot of these things to you guys as well, just so that you guys can approve the protocol ahead of time, so that we have all of our bases set so that these events can happen. So we're looking to get a lot of support and help from the village and the town. So, but we'd like to thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, we're here to answer them.
Wow. That was impressive.
I actually have a question for the board. What's the best way for us to make sure we're keeping you in the loop? Other than coming and presenting. I mean, do you guys all get, Amy's now they've revamped their newsletter, or, your email blast. And I've got a section in that I'm writing a little column for it. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to keep you guys informed, so we're not, coming too late with something, because what we're finding, especially with events and, with COVID, the protocols change like daily. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little, but, things are, kind of up in the air a lot. So I just want to make sure we're doing our best to communicate.
I would say, you're doing fine with emails and that kind of communication, but
Okay.
this is also helpful to have like a quarterly report, if you will,
Okay.
I would
Okay.
say.
And if there's anything that you would like me to include in my monthly newsletter, you can always email me. What I do is after the roundtable meetings, I take the majority of the information from the roundtables, and it's that next Tuesday. So if there's anything that you'd like us to, do a shout out to these businesses, you're more than welcome to send me an email by, on that Friday before the second Tuesday of the month, because that's when it goes out. I can add it to the agenda, for what's going to be sent out.
Yeah, the other suggestion I might have is to volunteer somebody from the board to sort of liaison with you.
That would be great.
We can discuss that as a board and see who thinks they may have the best time schedule to fit with that, and, the interest level.
Well, our main concern too is we just want to make sure that we get all of the, I want support. Kathy and I are really looking for the village's support for Hang Around Victor Day, for all these things. We want your input so that these events can happen successfully, but at least have them happen. So, we're just looking to make sure that things can, we can have a community again with events and, just trying our best to get out there. And we just want to, have that relationship with the village to know that you're there. And if you have suggestions, if there's things that you think we should or shouldn't do, we definitely want to hear from you.
Appreciate that. Just one question, whatever you want to call it. In your opening slides, you show all the organizations in Victor that are now under your umbrella, but the same organizations are going to exist, right?
No. So that
Business-
first slide, the only organizations that are under our umbrella is the chamber, the LDC, and economic development. So that's
Right.
when we're just saying that we want everyone, everyone's input, but the
Yeah.
Victor Business Connection doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
That is gone, and it's now Victor CDO. So we're trying to, we're at the point now that everyone has to participate and be a partner to have these events happen.
And I will tell you, I had a conversation with one of, I would say, one of our biggest critics. And that person was very receptive, liked where this was going, liked what he heard, that we're, joining forces, that we're not going to, each entity, Parks and Rec, LDC, Chamber have their hand out looking for, support and fundraising from all the different businesses. So that in and of itself was, very positive for me. And I think we've had these business Zoom meetings. I think now we've probably reached out to over 20 of the, I would say, the smaller our local businesses through these Zoom meetings. And they've all been very receptive and very impressed, and like the direction it's going. So I feel pretty confident, it's going to take some time, in 2021, we all thought maybe that, that COVID would have cleared up by now. We're still struggling with that. So, we've got some work to do, and, we'll get through 2021 and do as much as we can and then go back at it.
Very, very good. It's an ambitious undertaking, and you guys have been working hard at it. It's pretty obvious. One last question I have is, and I'm really pleased, you're focused a lot on village businesses. The small businesses in the village, they need all the help they can get to get themselves out there. And I'm thrilled that you're really focusing on them, but I am assuming that you're open to all businesses in the entire town of Victor, including the village, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And do you have you had some buy-in from those folks outside of the village?
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead, Amy. Talk about.
No, we have, in the past, there was over 350 members or partners, and COVID just dropped it down. So it was dropped before I became the executive director, and we're building it back up. Yes, we've lost some businesses just because of COVID, where they've moved, they've closed down, but there's quite a few businesses that, are very excited with this prospect and just with our new website and everything else. So we have quite a few big major companies. Staples is a big supporter of us. We have all the banks that are supporters of us. We're working with Dick's Sporting Goods, Constellation Brand, a lot of manufacturing. So there's a lot of larger companies, but what we want to do is make sure that the larger companies are also helping the smaller companies. Yeah. So we're getting a mix out there, and that's kind of what our Alive at 5 is it's everyone meeting and kind of talking and hearing what we can do and how we can help each other.
And Gary, one more thing, as far as the, partner versus not a partner, everybody can get involved. So yeah. We've come up with, our levels, so to speak. If you can't pay the, $220 annual fee, then you can pay to play. You can pay per event. You can work out a payment schedule, or, I am very much about, if you're not participating in this, I'm still going to help you relocate or do whatever you got to do. And that's going to show people the value of getting involved and the things that Amy and I are working on, and they'll start to come around. I mean, we're not going to get everybody on board, but we're hoping that we can show through the example that, there's a good reason to get on board with that.
And that's why I said, we've got a business that's leaving, and we're very sad because it's, it's been a great business in the village of Victor, and she has to close up, and we're trying to help her in any way we can. And she's not going to be a partner anymore, but we're going to include her in every event that we can try to do. And if she wants to be a partner, that's great. If she can't afford it, that's fine. But you know, what Kathy and I both realize is we can't just have this, all the businesses trying to, you know, just participate and not help support. And so that's why Kathy had said, you got to pay to play. So we need something from everyone so that we can have a successful event, so that we can, you know, pay for the publicity, we can pay for the commercials, that we can pay for all the things that we need, the banners, the posters, you know, just a lot of stuff to make every event that happens. I mean, it's not free. You know, there's a lot of work that goes into every event that we do.
I really appreciate the explanations. And, you know, I think it's just tremendous that you're working with the larger businesses and manufacturing or whatever that's out there to work along with the small business in the village, because I think business begets business. And if the larger ones are successful, there's a good chance the smaller ones are going to be more successful, because people are going to be drawn to Victor. And
Exactly.
I think tying them together is a really important thing. And by you guys tying your organization into one, I think it's moving in the right direction. And I'll just be quiet and let the rest of the board speak.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I've got a couple things. So let me start by saying I love the idea and I love what you're doing. So I am not against it, okay, at all. But I've got a couple concerns that I think you may hear in the future. And so that's why I'm bouncing them off you. So we touched base on that briefly right now with partners versus non-partners.
Mhm.
So I certainly understand your willingness to help non-partners, hoping they become partners. But what about the people who are paying? And then you're going to, you know, your partners who are paying their dues, and then they're going to see, well, you're helping somebody who's not, where's my return on investment? So I think that's something you're going to have to address in the future. I think in the COVID protocols, everybody wants to help everybody.
Right.
But I think as COVID diminishes, you may face that backlash in the future. And then my other concern is, you know, the mixing of this public and private entity. Have you done any legal research if anybody else has done this?
Yeah.
And how it
Yes.
works?
Yep.
Yeah, so we did do research, and we did some outreach to couple different entities that have done a similar thing, not here in New York State. The last one we talked to and had a lengthy conversation with was actually out of Florida. And also, I just want to make clear, we are not commingling our bank accounts. LDC has to stay intact because we're a public authority, a 501c4. So we have to stay intact with our separate financials. Chamber is staying intact with their separate financials. The way we're coming together is one, you know, aside from us being under one umbrella, one is I'm going to help Amy and promote the VCDO and promote the reasons why they should get involved and pay the member or the partnership fee, or, you know, the different levels for sponsorship, and talk to them about the value of that, of working together. And, you know, B is that, and I've totally lost my train of thought just now. It was really good. And I just
Well,
totally,
we also, yeah,
totally lost it. Amy, hurry up.
We did have a lawyer. Both of our attorneys went through and looked through everything. So we do have a written contract per se, because what it is, it's not just that we're, you know, saying that we're having this group together. We have a written agreement that we're both going to be partnered in a sense that we're both working together. I mean, what is it called, Kathy?
The letter of understanding.
Thank you. So we do have a letter of understanding, and
I have my thought back.
Go ahead. Great. Go.
So the in the letter of understanding, the way it's outlined right now, and attorneys are still looking at it and making sure that we're correct, but a portion of the funds that are raised through sponsorship dollars, fundraisers, and also member or partnerships will go to the LDC loan fund that not for our operating costs, it's for the loan fund that directly supports businesses, and that's town and village businesses. So that's where we've come up with, you know, how to, what, first of all, you know, I knew people would ask, why are you getting involved with this, Kathy, and helping her, you know, the chamber get partners and get sponsorships? Well, that's why. I haven't been able to grow that loan fund in a number of years, except with the money that was coming back in when loans were paid off. And I've got, I think, 5 people right now waiting, you know, hoping to get a loan and filling out applications, and I can't fulfill those right now.
And what has happened for me and why I wanted to work with Kathy so much is when I opened Prima Pop, Kathy was there for me. That loan program was what started Prima Pop. So I see such the value in keeping this loan going, and not many businesses even understand that that opportunity is out there. So I want to help Kathy bring awareness and let everyone realize this is how I brought my business got started. And, you know, it was such a great program, and we're hoping to really promote it and make it better.
You know what might be helpful too, Mike, and I can't remember if we sent this to you guys, is the partnership levels, that document. Do you guys have that we came up with?
I'll send that to,
I thought I'd seen it once.
yeah, it's on our website and things if you do log on, and it talks about what other events we're doing and things like that
And
we're having.
we know that there's going to be bumps in the road here, and we know we're going to, you know, encounter some things that people might not be thrilled with. I mean, let's face it, I've been doing this since 2006, and I run into a lot of obstacles. So we're gonna, you know, embrace them, try and figure it out, and keep moving. I mean,
And it's not so much that we're going to be helping businesses that aren't partners. That was just something, you know, in a sense of helping businesses. I'm talking more of social media, just getting the word out, how we can help them in a sense for events, that kind of help. I'm not referring to, you know, here, I'm going to let you have this event for free. Those things aren't going to be happening. I'm not going to say that she can come in and just
yeah, and
get a free booth.
And I think too, when you talk about, you know, assisting businesses that aren't partners, I'm talking about, yes, they still
Information.
qualify for getting loans through the
Yeah.
LDC. I mean, you know, we're still true to our mission there. But, you know, there's a lot of advantages if they become a partner through the events and the networking and the other things that are available.
My largest
Does that make
problem when I became a chamber member back when, you know, I first started, there was the first year, there was definitely a worth for me to be a member of the chamber. But then as time went on, I really didn't understand what the worth was. So for me, Kathy and I are really showing the value and what the worth is and why we need to have a chamber around. Back in the day, there was different things. You joined because you needed a website. Well, now everyone has a website. So what Kathy and I offer by having this entity, there's a lot more out there. We're having training, we're having videos, we're having the website, we're having the events calendar, we're helping promote. I mean, there's a lot more that we're trying to do than what the chamber did in the past. So we're trying to revamp it and not just have it, you know, as a, you know, oh, you should join the chamber. There's a worth to joining now.
So then my only last statement would be, it sounds like you've addressed like the money, the positives, you know, from a legal standpoint. Have you addressed it from a legal standpoint? If one of you gets in trouble, that you're both going to be held liable. So, you know, the public.
An example.
perception, it becomes one entity. Well, so the example, so you have to understand, Amy, so I come from 25 years of an insurance legal background. The example
Okay.
is, so here's a very rough example. You steal money, okay, as the head of the chamber, and then the partners sue the town and the chamber. So that would be my only concern. And again, that comes from a much different background. Like, I know that 99% of what goes on in the world is really positive. I get that.
I know, but
Right,
no, that,
right.
I mean,
No, that's a good,
you know,
example.
I never know what she's up to, Mike. So
you know.
No, but I get it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the
Just
reasons.
so you're both
why-
protected. And when I say you
Right.
both, I mean both of you individually and organizationally.
Right, right.
Well, luckily we each have an attorney, and they try
Right.
to keep, and we keep those entities. So I think we're still going to be liable for our own groups.
Right, and that's one of the reasons why I was very hesitant, and at least for this first year of any, like we were talking about, possibly just having one board and, more joining the finances. And I was like, let's just
We got
do
to,
it-
yes, keep it
let's
separate.
do it this way for now and see how it goes and see, what obstacles, if any. But anything like that, I'm open to hearing, I want you guys to look at our website and tell us what you think of that. I want input like this because it's got to
It's
make
good.
sense.
We,
Yeah, and there's
I didn't
things,
think Kathy was going to be stealing, but you never know.
and there's things, we're in this bubble doing this, and we might
Right.
not think of everything.
Yeah, and with the research you did, you said you hadn't found any in New York State, and like I say, God knows there's somebody in New York State looking to sue somebody for something. So that would be like I said, I'm not backing off my original statement. I think it's fantastic.
No, that's,
Just cover all your bases.
Right, and one example I can tell you in New York State that's pretty close to it is in Fairport, where they have the Fairport Partnership, the Chamber, their business group, and I'm forgetting one of the entities. And they're all in the same building, and
Mhm.
they work pretty closely together, but they don't quite call it a formal partnership.
Got it.
what's nice is that Kathy and I can share costs because we were doing some of the events before in the past where the chamber and the LDDC was sponsoring the same thing. It's just my opinion about things going forward is I don't care whose name's on it, whose name's on the top. I just want these events to happen. I want it to be a great community. I want things to happen for my kids in this town and, all the other businesses to succeed. So at the end of the day, we just want it to be successful.
Thank you very much, ladies.
All right.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having us. And like I said, if you have any questions, email us, call us. Soon we'll be in the same building. So
Yeah.
stop by and say hi to us.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, next up on our agenda is the clerk's report.
Okay, I have a resolution to accept the meeting minutes from our February 15th meeting.
Is there a motion to accept the minutes?
Make the motion.
Go ahead, Bob. I can
Motion by
second.
Bob, second by Michelle. Any comments or anything on the minutes from February 15th? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
I,
Any opposed? None.
And I have a resolution to accept the payment of bills, abstract number 19.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mike,
I'll second.
second by Carol. Comments or questions on the abstract? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None.
Okay, and this is the meeting where we have the resolution to state the election polling place and candidates. So I will read this. Resolved that the next annual election of the Village of Victor will be held on Tuesday, March 16th, 2021 at the Victor Village Hall, 60 East Main Street, Victor, New York. Polls will be open from 12 noon to 9 p.m. The following persons have been nominated for the office and terms set forth below. Office of Mayor, 2-year terms. Gary A. Haddon, 70 Latchmere Drive. Jennifer Arena, 276 East Main Street. Office of Trustee, 2 2-year terms. Michael L. Crowley, 10 Woodworth, Jennifer Tipton, 14 Ambassador, Michelle Chalupa, 9 Valley View Drive, and Corey Kelly, 155 East Main Street, Apartment 2.
Hey Pam,
Yep.
can you change mine to Circle? 9
that
Valley
mean?
View Circle.
Oh,
It's all right.
yeah.
Otherwise, that'd be Tracy Eifert.
Okay, thanks, Michelle.
You're welcome.
Is there a motion to accept the resolution?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Carol,
Second it.
second by Bob. Any other comments or issues on the resolution? Glad you caught that, Michelle.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, everybody makes that mistake.
Hearing no other discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? None.
And that's all I have.
Thank you, Pam. So next up, Director of Public Works report. John Turner is necessarily absent tonight. He is with his family, taking care of family issues. He wanted me to bring something to the board's attention. It's not anything we're going to act on at this point in time, but we are working on an intermunicipal agreement for site improvements at the fire hall. The fire department wants to do some work on the parking lot and so forth. And their attorney is working on an intermunicipal agreement, and when that's been drafted by them, we'll get Reed involved and he will review it, and I'm sure that we will be seeing it after that. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that coming down the pike. Any trustee reports tonight?
Gary, before we do a trustee report, we had a motion to have an additional election inspector. We want to, I think you've got copies of it,
Yes.
right? Do I need to make that motion?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the resolution is number 00-21. It's additional election inspector. Resolved that the village board of trustees appoints Pamela Hodgins as an additional election inspector for the village of Victor. Election on Tuesday, March 16th, 2021, for a fee of $150.
Is there a motion for this resolution?
I'll make the motion.
A motion by Carol. Is there a second?
I'll
A
second that.
by Michelle. A point of discussion is, so to let the public know what's going on, is we had a discussion actually last board meeting about, or maybe it was during a budget session, about what would happen if one of the election inspectors that we already appointed got sick or couldn't perform their duties. Maybe we should think about an additional or additional inspectors. So, we're getting down to the wire here close to election time, and Pam contacted NICOM, which is New York Conference of Mayors, the organization that we use a lot for some guidance on many issues. And they have counsel there that helps us with by offering opinions. And I'm looking at a publication that they have, Conducting Village Elections During the COVID-19 State of Emergency, Frequently Asked Questions. And this was issued on January 11th, 2021. So under the heading of election inspectors, it refers to election law, election law 3-406. And speaks about additional election inspectors and goes on to say, in addition, if necessary, villages may consider appointing village employees as additional election inspectors. Such individuals would have to take a day off from their village position to serve as an inspector on election day. And additionally, all inspectors are public officers and must file an oath of office prior to executing their official duties. So I'm just giving the board and the public some background on how and why we're coming to this decision if we approve this resolution. So Pam, if she's appointed by us, will take the day off from her clerk duties and be there on site as an additional election inspector. And given the situation, you know, with the COVID situation, everything else, I think it's a very wise move to have Pam there. She can check people in at the door and kind of guide the other inspectors through the process that sometimes it gets a little difficult for them if there's a lot of people and who knows how many mail-in ballots there might be and things like that. So that's the background on the situation, and Bob has presented us with the resolution. And we do have a motion and a second. So does anybody have any further discussion or comments regarding this resolution for additional election inspector? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. You're it, Pam.
Thank you, Pam.
Thank you, Pam.
Thanks for the research on it. Thank you, Bob. Anything else, Bob?
The planning board met, they reviewed a sort of preliminary concept design. There's a proposal to put in the a drive-through store on West Main Street, west of CNR Vision, it's sort of across the parking lot from the funeral home. And it's strictly a drive-through convenience store. So they looked at the concept. It was favorably received by the board, and I'm sure the person will be back looking at it. Apparently, they're not in this area, but they are downstate, Long Island, and there are some other places. Meg was very familiar with them. So that was approved by the planning board as an initial concept.
Thanks, Bob. So they will be coming back to the planning board for final approval at some point, right?
They'll be back. They were just didn't want to go too far before they just checked with the planning board to see if they agreed in concept.
Very good. Thanks for that info. Any other trustees have anything tonight they want to talk about?
I had library board. So I know that they're, just the highlights that they have approved HVD, their architectural firm, to do a floor plan of their new location. I still don't know because I have to get kicked out when they go into executive session to discuss. So there is, I guess, a location out there, and they're, taking it to have a floor plan drawn up. And then they had to decide on what they're going to do with their tax cap kind of thing for the library. So it looks like they're going to bump theirs for the 2022 budget. So, and
I'm sorry.
and then what's that?
I'm sorry. So they're probably going to raise or override their tax cap?
Yep, they're going to override their tax cap. Yep, correct. And then they're going to kind of take their fundraising committee, if you will, kind of internally, and they're trying to think of ways that they can kind of circle back around to the people that Cassandra Ramos had talked to. So they're trying to kind of figure out how are they going to raise money, who are the big donors out there in Victor, if there are any, those kinds of things. So they've got some good ideas on that. So we'll see where that takes them. And that's about it.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yep.
Michelle, have you met with Tree Board at all lately? Are they planning an event?
So tree board, I had to miss because we were in budget workshop. I know they're keeping me in the loop. They're doing a lot with the tree assessment right now. Last I heard, their plan is to do kind of more of like a symbolic Arbor Day thing for this year, like they did last year.
Right.
Not do the big grand, Arbor Day kind of event like in years past or pre-COVID, I should say. So like right now they're working on, they've done the tree assessment. They're looking at what trees need to be replaced. What are they going to replace those trees that maybe failed with, is it going to be the same tree, something different? So that's been kind of keeping them busy because they want to get that list of new trees ordered from Schichtel's. So, but they will have tree board next week. So I will be attending that.
And Arbor Day is in April, right?
Correct.
I can't remember what date, but probably the middle of April.
It is, yeah, in the middle. Isn't it like around Earth Day? No?
Somewhere around there, yes.
Yeah, because Earth Day is the 22nd. I almost feel like Arbor Day's right ahead of that somewhere.
On whatever day it's going to snow.
Correct. Right. Snowy, cold.
Just one thing I would add to the tree board talk is, I don't know about the rest of you if you've seen the village crew, but they have been out with that new bucket truck trimming all over the village. So they're putting it to good work. Carol, anything?
Yeah, after I did that webinar about the community development block grants,
Yes.
I was talking with Kathy Rayburn, and we had the two of us had a meeting on Friday, a conference call with Ed Flynn. And he said that there are certain projects that we may be eligible to get funds from the community development thing. Nothing that we're looking at right now, but possible infrastructure type things in the future. John's already started Moore Avenue, but there are funds that we might qualify for like sewer lines or water lines, things like that. And other areas of that grant other than the ones that we're not eligible for. But I asked him about, other grants that might be out there. And he actually has a presentation that he does on types of grants that are available to towns and villages. And he was willing to come and do the presentation for us if we would like to have him. And it would be something probably where we would want Meg from planning or, anyone else to sit in and listen. He said it's about 30 to 45 minutes and he takes questions, and just hearing what's out there might trigger something, from one of us. Oh, this is something we wanted to do in our revitalization initiative. So there might be money out there for it. So I said I'd let him know. He was interested. I told him a little bit about one of the projects that John has that he would like to do this year. And there's a possibility there may be funds available for that. We won't probably know until spring, but I did send John an email and trying to get some more information from him. But as I said, I think it might be worth it for us to have Ed come sometime. Doesn't have to be, immediately, but, and just to hear what's out there. Because there are other types of funds that we might be able to get and get our revitalization going.
Appreciate you doing that. And question I have is the project that John's talking about on the south side of Main Street. Is Ed saying that would be part of the community block grant type funding?
No,
or something
No,
else?
that wouldn't qualify under that. New York Main Street normally doesn't provide funds for streetscape type projects. But this past year, back in the fall, they did give out some money for those types of things. If they were related to COVID, he said things like, making an outdoor space for a restaurant
Mhm.
whose, capacity was now limited inside. And he thought that John's project could qualify for something like that. It's not certain that will be offered again as a separate component of New York Main Street in the spring. But he said that he advised us to get the plan together, get all the cost estimates, everything together. And then if they do offer it, we'll be ready to put our application in.
Sounds like a good idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm hearing these conflicting reports about grant money. I know that John went to a meeting at the county and Jeff Gallahan was there.
Right.
And Jeff basically said, no funding's available.
They're holding up everything right now. They're waiting to see, if any money comes through from the federal government, that will be a big part of it. And then
Yeah,
money for grants. Although he did say that there is money in the budget for the downtown revitalization grants this year. But again, it would be dependent on, I'm sure, getting money from the federal government as well. So,
Okay.
yeah, right, nothing is certain at the moment, but he says it's always better to be prepared and be ready, because sometimes you don't have a long window to get these things together and sent in.
Right.
And then Carol,
Yes,
Ed Flynn is with Labella, correct?
yes,
Okay, just want to make sure I was right in that. Thank you.
yep, sorry,
Thanks, Carol.
you're welcome.
Did I get everybody? Mike, do you have anything?
Well, I don't have anything big. The only thing I have is, I think we need to discuss meeting in person. The COVID rate's below 2% and trending down everywhere. So, I mean, I could be wrong, if we need to put it to a vote, we should put it to a vote, but I feel very strongly about meeting in person. And I mean, if there's any board members that have a medical, health, mental, or physical condition that they don't want to meet, I respect that, and we can continue to include those board members in Zoom, but I think we owe it to the public to be here in person.
Understood. Well, it kind of goes along with the fact that we need to remind the public tonight that we will be open for the election. Village Hall will be open for the election. And I think in the past, we have discussed possibly reopening Village Hall prior to the election, so people are aware, and not wait until just that point to reopen. So I kind of would defer a little bit to Pam and Diane and Roseanne, the staff, how they feel about it. And I'm willing to do it if they're okay with it, because they're the ones who have to deal with the public coming in and out of the building. And then when it comes to meetings, our capacity at Village Hall is limited. And the hardest thing, I think, is to social distance in the size of the room that we have. But for our purposes of board meetings, we don't usually have a lot of people, so we should be all right. But, everybody just needs to understand there might be a night when people do show up and we have to social distance, and somebody might not be able to get in. But that would be the exception to the rule. I understand that. So I don't know, anybody else want to comment?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the election's what, the 16th?
Right.
We have a meeting on the 15th. I would agree. I think it should be in person. So, we've been able to manage it.
Okay.
best.
Bob, you okay with that? Michelle?
I'm okay
good
with
with
it.
it.
In fact, oh, sorry. I was gonna say, even, like the library board, I know it's a little different. They have more people, but when they met, they concluded their meeting and it was all around their desire to get back to meeting in person. And, they know what places they've used so far to kind of accommodate the number that they have, but now they're looking at other locations that might be bigger so that they really can spread out. But they're going back to, they want to go back to in person. I think in April is when they're doing it. So not March, but they're putting it, kind of drawing a line in the sand, if you will, too.
Excuse me.
So the other question then is, what about reopening Village Hall to the public? Pam, any thoughts on the matter?
Well,
I don't want to
I
put you
get
on the
da-
spot.
I get daily COVID numbers from Diane, and she seems to think that they're going back up. But we knew, we're just waiting for you guys to say, because we figured by today, you would have said open the doors. So we're just, there right now, it's slow because there's no water bills. April 1st is going to be a big uptick. But I think that we've been doing this for so long that people are kind of used to using the mailbox. People still try and come in, but it's definitely not the volume that we got in the past. I
Right.
think people are more than happy to put their stuff in the mailbox. So just tell me what you want us to do, and that's what we'll do. Like I say, we've been waiting for it anyway. So, definitely by the 15th, we'll have the doors open, and now might not be a bad time either.
Yeah, I mean, I would suggest opening the doors next Monday on the, that'll be the 8th, right?
Mhm.
So you're, kind of back up to speed with it, and people have a week to get used to that prior to the election time.
Yep.
And then they'll know that, they won't be wondering, is the door going to be open if I go to vote or not,
Right.
So, and we will be putting information out on the website and the Facebook page regarding, the election and so forth. So that's what I would say, if everybody's agreeable to that.
Yep.
Well-
And the only thing I have to say about the in-person and Zoom thing, the town can do it because they have a big camera in their town hall facing the town board. I think that Reed's still going to be a little bit hesitant about meeting in person. So if we have an in-person meeting and we Zoom Reed in, he's not going to see what we're doing because we can see him, but how is he going to see us? You know what I mean? Everybody's not going to be on a screen like this.
Yeah,
So, I know that he's going to be the last drawback. We've seen how we can do it during budget workshops and things like that. And I don't know if it would be a thing where he is the beginning of the meeting and gets excused or what we're going to do with it. But that's something we're going to have to talk to him about, I think.
yeah, that's a great point. I wasn't thinking about it. When does he come back from vacation?
He'll be back to work on the 8th.
On the 8th. I guess I do want to talk to Reed about it. You know, now that I said the 8th. Well, we can still open the doors to Village Hall on the 8th. And as far as Reed and the meetings, I'll just have to have a discussion with him and we'll figure out what we're gonna do, I guess. But so we'll leave it at that, I guess, until next Monday.
Yep.
Plan on the doors, Village Hall opening. And, you know, we definitely will have things open starting the 15th
Yep.
for election and so forth. And I'll talk to Reed as first chance I get.
Okay.
And you can do the same if you get to him before I do.
Okay.
All right. That
Sure.
okay, board?
Good with it.
All right. Couple things from me. So I can't remember if John brought this up at the last board meeting or the budget meeting. I can't remember, but we do have a little issue going on over at the Black Diamond with a wastewater backup situation because of the grinder pump failing. And it's been fixed. You know, there's another pump. There's actually a backup pump and that's working, but it seems to be happening more frequently than it should. So we're looking into all kinds of options with it. Because this is a pump that the village owns and maintains to keep that line open. And John's looking into possibly different pump, a bigger pump or whatever for the future. And there is even a possibility of going back to a gravity feed siphon, but nothing's been absolutely decided yet. I've had a discussion with Joe Lopez about it, the owner, and Joe's not too happy that we, you know, are telling him, you know, whether it's your business. I know the business has been closed since last March, but there could have been residue already in the line. And then you have tenants upstairs and apparently they're flushing things that are, you know, plugging this pump up and burning it out. So Joe's going to do the best he can with the tenant situation and whatever, and making them aware they can't be doing that. And just wanted to make everybody aware of what's going on there. I don't have the resolution for it right now, what the answer is at the moment. Want to touch back on the election and make sure if the public's still listening out there that they understand that absentee ballots are available, but you have to fill out an application by either calling Village Hall at 924-3311 and requesting a ballot from the village clerk, or you can come down and pick one up. A phone call ahead of time would be good until, you know, the 8th when the doors are open again. And getting those ballots back in time, Pam, our clerk, can tell you about the timeline with that. And we already said Village Hall will be open on election day, noon to 9 p.m. we'll be voting. One thing about the CCA program and the additional piece, the community solar program that we're involved with as a village with Source Power. That's the company we're purchasing the energy from. So the CCA program is one thing, and this community solar is an additional option that people had to opt into if they wished to participate. Initially, we had, I think, 62 people sign up for that program. We're now, I found out today, we're up to 71 or 72 people who've joined, subscribed to that program from Source Power. And for each of those subscriptions, we receive, the village receives a $50 kickback, if you will. I kind of hate to use that word, but at the moment I can't think of a better one, but we receive $50 from each subscription that we can use toward future sustainability projects in the village. And we've talked about this before. Probably the number one on the list is replacement of streetlights with LEDs. And this is a program that's definitely would be considered appropriate for these funds. So I tell you all this because I got an email. Source Power wants to have a press release event to issue us the check, and also the other communities, being, I assume, Canandaigua and Brighton, that went out to bid at the same time we did. They want to come and present the check and have a press event. And they're looking for dates for that, and they're going to have to coordinate these dates between not just our community, but the other two. So, you know, with Earth Day coming up, I'm thinking April 22nd, which is a Thursday, would be a possible date we could do this. That's why I was asking about Arbor Day and exactly when it was and what we were doing, and we can find out from Jean. Or I'm thinking if we wanted to, we could do it on the night of the board meeting, April 19th. That's a possibility. I will say that I'm going to suggest that that's like one of the last dates for adopting the budget. And I'm going to suggest we wait till April 19th because I'm going away during the time period of the first meeting in April, which is the 5th of April. I'm not going to be here, and I'm definitely going to be involved in that budget vote. So I talked to Diane today and Pam, and they seem to be fine with if we waited till April 19th, and I'm hoping the rest of the board's okay with that. So whether we want to do that press event on that same night or not, I don't know. I don't know what else we'll have on the agenda, but I personally thought of those two dates. If anybody else has any dates in mind, please let me know, because I want to let Sue know so she can contact Source Power with our choice for dates. Just email or text me if you have a preference other than either of those two dates. And then the last thing I have is the code enforcement interviews and so forth. Mike, with John not being here, do you think we should wait until he's around to further discuss this? Or do you guys want to have a discussion tonight?
No, I definitely think we should wait for John, and you know, certainly not to exclude any other board members. Just because you and John and I interviewed all the candidates, we should probably meet, you know, as soon as realistically possible, the three of us.
Right. That's what I was thinking. So just a quick thing for the board. Our leading candidate turned down the offer, so we're kind of back to the drawing board in a certain sense. We do have these other candidates still involved at this point in time. And I do want to let them know what's going on because, you know, it's been a while since the interviews. So hopefully Mike and I can meet with John sooner than later, and decide whether we're going to choose one of these other candidates or whether we're going to move on and go back to the drawing board. So just wanted to update everybody where we're at right now. In the meantime, Terry Saxby will continue to be on loan from the county. And I expect some kind of intermunicipal agreement from Tom Harvey at the county any day now. So we will soon be paying our way.
And then I just looked up Arbor Day, Gary. It's
Okay.
April 30th.
April 30th is Arbor Day.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yep.
And Reed is not here with us tonight, so Does anybody else have any other business they want to discuss?
can I just share one thing that I got wind of today? So I had noticed in the last abstract, I think I've noticed it in all the abstracts, but like it really caught my eye this last abstract, and I looked at it again for this one, is that we have several different RG&E accounts across the village, correct?
Right.
So I inquired with Diane first, and then I inquired with Sue Hughes Smith to see if any of those RG&E accounts might be able to kind of parlay into the CCA that we have. And so Diane shared all of the pump like classifications and the numbers and all of that with me. And then I passed it on to Sue Hughes Smith. And Sue got back to me and said that from what she and Ben Freevert can tell, all of those RG&E accounts can roll up into the CCA. And then just at look, and while you look at some of these, there's, like the street lighting is the number one expense. So like in this month's abstract, it was almost $2,700. DPW and Village Hall, are up there as like, they're like the top three in that first group of 9. And then the other ones look like they're all pump stations. There's 2 on Maple that are grinder pumps. And then there's the Bryce Road wastewater treatment plant, which would be our highest RG&E account. So Sue got back to me like just before the meeting, and I kind of looked at these. So I need to get down and talk to Diane. And what I need to do is, if we're interested in doing this, is get Sue and Diane and Sue talking together to see what can come of that. So just wanted to share that. My hope would be is that 1, we're practicing what we're preaching, and 2, we can maybe save the village some money by doing this.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Keep us posted on the progress.
will do.
Anybody else? Anything else?